Hoyle, catering manager.
Peter Molar, doorman.
Ricardo Oliva, concierge.
Ulrich Edwards, concierge assistant.
We've got you.
Linda Anderson, cafe owner.
Ioana Gheorghiu, junior sous chef.
Nuno Pinto, bartender.
Mark Black, head porter.
Andrea Demir, receptionist.
We've got you.
Aaron Dixon, apprentice chef.
Federica Pinna, pastry chef.
Sabino Mazzone, pastry chef.
Himari Birchkay, barista supervisor.
We've got you. Sean Maharjan, sushi head chef.
Mitchell Collier, duty manager.
Anna Grabczewska, public area cleaner.
Whatever you do in hospitality, isn't it good to know that someone's got your back in case anything goes wrong?
That video from hospitality has been a main focus point of the whole day, really, today, and it's got a lot of aspects of different roles within the hospitality industry. And now we're going to talk about inspiring the future of that industry. And a lot of them roles wouldn't be possible without the amazing people we have, and we need to bring new people within it. So I'm going to introduce first Paul Askew, chef patron of the Art School in Liverpool. Hi, Paul. How are things?
Hi, Sean. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are yourself? Been busy?
Very good. Yeah, I've been enjoying the day. Yeah, we've had quite a lively day, haven't we? A few
definitely
this morning, and then the demo this afternoon, which was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's lovely to see the fundraising continue.
Yeah, massively. So obviously you've worked quite a bit with Shane in the past as well. Who's going to be our next guest from Cheshire College. Hi, Shane. How are things?
Hi, are you all right, guys? All right, Sean? All right, Paul? Nice to see you both.
Yeah, you
Hi,
too, mate.
Shane. How's it going?
Yeah, good time. Good time. Just getting used to a drastically different way of delivering lessons.
Yeah, and it's completely different, and getting people into the industry now is much harder than it would have ever been before. So another person we've got joining us today is John from Tameside College, who set up Bridging the Skills Gap as a foundation to get people to that gap between going into the industry and the colleges. Hi, John. How are things, mate?
Good evening. How are we all?
Evening,
We're
John.
all good.
Evening, John.
So, guys, just a little bit about how we can help the industry as a whole and get it all set up. And I'll let you guys discuss the industry and what we need in it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, straight away, I suppose I'll pose a little question for both of the guys, actually, if I may. You know, for me as a restaurateur and an owner of a business, and we try to put a very big influence into our local colleges and working well across the Northwest, really, to find the talent. You know, my worry moving forward is, and we were just chatting a little bit before the live feed started, is, you know, moving into the next few months as restaurants start to get back going, how do you guys get your cohorts through the next bit, which is obviously the qualification, and then how do we get them into industry, because times are very uncertain and we're going to have to be creative in our strategy, if you like, to get these guys working. Maybe I'll throw that one at Shane first and then come to John.
Yeah, well, it's going to be challenging, isn't it? I mean, luckily at our college, Cheshire College South and West, we pushed these guys fairly hard, fairly quickly. So we hit the ground running. So we got to a point just before lockdown where, to be fair, we weren't a million miles away from there being not far off completed anyway. Bar a couple of cookery exams, we were pretty much there. Now we've changed the way we deliver our lessons. We're using Microsoft Teams, delivering remotely. So we've covered a lot, in fact, pretty much all of the theory now that would enhance these guys' grades if City and Guilds decide to go down the route of doing a calculated grade. And as I said earlier, we got to a point where pretty much all the cookery was done. So we anticipate a high number of these guys going forward now, particularly from level 1 to level 2, to further their skills. So we we would look for a lot more progression this year as compared to past years. We can bridge that gap in knowledge when we start back in September, if we do, or maybe later on in that year. We can also do video tutorials, so on and so forth. But for level 2 going to level 3, again, we would look at a higher level of progression this time. For the 4 guys, I mean, that's all we had on our level 3 this time. Yeah, I guess they're in the trickiest situation of those 3 groups of learners, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, before we go to John, just something I would say as well is that, do you think there's a way of almost retaining them in college a bit longer because they've missed part of this year?
Yeah.
Do we try and extend it and get it through to sort of Christmas with more advanced learning, if you like? Industry is a bit more ready to take people on.
Yeah, I think that is definitely an option. I think that has to be considered. Again, certainly for the levels 1 and 2. For the level 3 that we're doing in NVQ, you know, that's a competency-based qualification. So these guys are going to need, if they can't get back into their employment, because all 4 of our guys were employed, if they can't get back into that employment for a certain amount of time, we can certainly put additional classes on to bridge that gap, if you like. Yeah.
You've teed it up perfectly for John there, Shane. so from your side of things, John, obviously the name kind of hints as to what you're looking at, and this is going to become quite crucial. So can you fill us in a bit about what you're doing at the moment with the Bridge the Gap?
Yeah, well, basically, 18 months ago, 12 to 18 months ago, I started a group called Bridging the Skills Gap. And it was to include colleges, schools, and industry all discussing and all talking as to how we can, not just then, but also from then till now, to get people interested in our industry as a career, not just a part-time job, not just a job at uni, not just a job while you're at school or college, and to get them to understand that it is a career, this industry, and it's a great career. You know, people can go a long way. So we have Hyde's Brewery, we have people like Kimpton and IHG, we have loads of different people like the Pace and Sue Kenyon, we have the Craft Guild, we have the Food Teachers Association, we have numerous schools around this area of Manchester, where I'm from, is to actually join us in the group and try and get these students to come into college, to then go to college, to then go on to industry and make a career of it. And that's how it works. And that's what it's all about. So we have probably once every 2 to 3 months, we'll have a meeting, we'll get our heads together, try and tackle the latest things. And obviously the latest thing for us now is looking at COVID-19 and how it's affected us as colleges, but not only that, but as we know, massively the industry.
Yeah.
If I share a little bit about how we do things.
So that's what we can do.
So I'll just share a few things of how we do at Cheshire College, Paul.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So at Cheshire College, South and West, we've just come out of a successful college merger with 2 other campuses, Crewe, Ellesmere Port and Chester. Now, Crewe and Ellesmere Port have the 2 hospitality areas. Now, our academy restaurant is really the brainchild of our assistant principal, Mark Parsons. Now, he had the vision for how it was designed, making it modelled on Manchester's Northern Quarter, giving it a real trendy, upbeat feel to it. And within, I would say, 2 years of that academy restaurant, we decided to have a go for getting both AA College Restaurant of the Year through People's First, and as part of that membership, going for either highly commended or commended as a rosette. Now, commended is equivalent to a 1 AA rosette, highly commended is 2 AA rosette. And within our first year attempting that, we come out with that 2 AA rosette equivalent. And within a year of Ellesmere Port getting their restaurant up and running, they got their first commended Rosette as well. So what we try and do is make it more real to learners, so that they're not going out into industry having cooked, for want of a better word, 2 or 3 old dears on a Friday. We're making it real, current, relevant. We've also got a Centre of Excellence for Food Service and Gold Accreditation. Now, our restaurant is fully commercial. Now, we've got an outside catering business on top of that, fully refrigerated van and so on, where we do on-site and off-site catering functions, again, giving the learners a more realistic experience. We run a football club, which has its own function room, Nantwich Town, and again, that gives the learners 2 types of catering and hospitality experience there. We've obviously got the fast food for the kiosk for the players and the fans at half-time, plus the high-end dining function room as well. Now, all that we do is learner-led. Now, Andrea Hubie, Dan Hunter, Mark Parsons, and our teams let the learners run with all this. Every single thing we do is learner-led, right down from cleaning to doing the laundry to ordering of ingredients, obviously cooking. Sometimes at school it can be learners against teachers, can't it? With us, we have to and do it all as one team, as you've seen on a couple of occasions with the Gourmet Nights, Paul. So we, along with employer links and collaborations, and Crewe has got its own Academy Restaurant ambassador in Luke Thomas. Ellesmere Port's got its own as well in Brian Mellor, who's compare one of these, the food festival. And we have guest chefs like yourself, Paul, that come and spend time with the learners. And we've had Adam Smith, we've had Chantel Nicholson, Mark Hicks, the RAF, Luke as well. And the real galling and gutting thing about on top of many things about this virus, is what it's prevented from learners being able to have access to from next year. The likes of people that are confirmed, yourself, Ellis Barry, Craig Sherrington, Ben Murphy, James Sherwin, Elliot Hill, all these that are vital for colleges to inspire learners, and for you guys to get these chefs out into industry. We're going to have to that's going to be some challenge now getting, because let's face it, when your restaurants get up and running again, you're going to be flat out with them. So it's going to be so tough getting these experiences for the learners now. And our staff, our team, our college, and our learners thrive on these things.
It's definitely going to be a challenge. I don't know what's happened to John. I think we've got a little technical hitch there. We'll try and get him back. But I think what I would say, Shane, I think the challenge for all of us, whether it be from the college end in terms of what you're doing and all the great work that's happening across the Cheshire colleges, for us to try and get back to normal and provide employment for these guys. As you know, I've recruited from yourself. We've got 2 lads who are probably very nervous, sat in furlough now, waiting to find out what goes on. And I've got 35 people who don't know if they're going to all have jobs at the end of this. It's
frightening times, isn't it?
It is very frightening. And for me personally, the art school's been open 6 years now, and to get to a stage where we finally got a brigade that we're very happy with. We've got serviced the way we want it. We've got the atmosphere, the look, the feel. And really, it feels like now we've got to break that up and reinvent every step of the way. From a customer journey, from a staff training, from a health and safety, hygiene, you name it. It's just as you're saying. But I think in the industry we are resilient and innovative.
And we will. I'll come to innovation from the college's behalf in a minute, but we will come back stronger, and we will beat it, and we will be a stronger industry as a result of it. We love making the course real, giving those functions, those weekends, we got guys coming in half terms to do a function. That wouldn't have been heard of years and years ago. I had guys working on Boxing Day doing the football game. This is where colleges need to go. This is where we're going. Again, this is the vision of a very driven management team. I've mentioned their names, but it's the team that deliver it that are running with it as well. Now that enthusiasm, that passion, that fire transcends into your learners. And I think, or I believe that that's what's going to make a better type of chef. You know, we alluded to there a little bit of technology. Some of the technology we're using at the college is pretty groundbreaking. You know, we're moving on now from QR codes and green screen tech that was, you know, groundbreaking, unheard of a couple of years ago. Now we're birching into the realms of augmented reality, virtual reality. You know, I'm trying to develop an app with the help of my boss, who helped me write a bid over the Easter weekend, that we want to try and create an app or a piece of software that helps learners practice certain skills that cost money. Now, those skills that cost money are things like filleting fish, butchery. You know, these guys get to do it once because of certain costs and restrictions and so on and so forth. Can you imagine if we could develop an app or with hand controllers and so on and so forth that could mimic the knife movements of filleting a fish? Now, that learner then could fillet that fish 1,000,000 times and it not cost a penny. You know, I've worked with 3D printers where I even 3D print actual food. You know, this is on top of all the curriculum stuff, and it just keeps that little bit of enthusiasm and engagement and keeps the learners wanting and pushing for more. You know, with that 3D printer, I've managed to get some sponsorship. Well, my boss got sponsorship with 3D printing company. I got sponsorship with a form box company, Makiyu. Now, Makiyu give me this box for vacuum forming bespoke plastic molds. So I come up with 3D printing an Academy Snickers bar. And I've got the ideas, but it's the learners that execute them. Like I say, everything we do is learner-led. You know, we're dabbling in molecular gastronomy, we're modern patisserie, again, just to keep those skills in interest so that it adds to the learner's repertoire, you know?
Yeah. Let's bring John in, because we lost you for a minute there, John. But
Hi.
are you there? Can you hear us? I don't know if John can hear us. Got a little bit of a trouble with the sound. Are you on mute or anything, John?
Just seems frozen on my screen, Paul.
Yeah, he might be frozen on mine as well. Well, hopefully Sean can try and patch him in at some point, but it's back to two of us by the looks.
No worries.
You're, you know, I think the passion that you show at the college there is clear to see. And I know, you know, you always go above and beyond, and you've brought groups of students out to the art school for an experience there and demo and dine type thing. And we, you know, it's important that if you're talking about inspiring the future, as I've always tried to do, just as you've said, you've got to let them do it, but you've got to lead them into it. You've got to mentor them. You've got to, you know, put them forward for competitions. You've got to build their confidence and let them fly. And I think the confidence building is the key element to all of this. But I often get a bit frustrated, and I would call on my other industry colleagues really to get more involved, because
and that's it. That's so important. We need, you know, we need you guys as to help us inspire these learners. It's not, you know, Electra can only do so much, and I can inject so much passion. But when it comes to getting a chef into a chef industry, it needs a chef. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
It needs the names. It needs the guys that are out there doing it and doing it well. You know, you said about competitions there. It's another avenue we explore. We enter World Skills every year. I've got a colleague, Matt Humes, and again, this is just an example of the team going above and beyond. Matt Humes spends hours and hours on top of delivering his lessons and cooking for the restaurant and outside catering. He spends additional time with these learners to develop and feedback and develop some more and get them primed and ready for, you know, culinary competitions, the Welsh National Championships, the World Skills, which we enter every year.
Yeah.
You know, the Postle Boys, who you know, two absolute superstars for us for 3 years. And to get to what, you know, they started their career with Brunigan Price. Now that's fantastic enough, but to then develop their career further and go to someone like yourself, well, it's just a dream come true for them, isn't it?
It is, and to be fair, it's a dream for the employer as well, because as I always say, when we go out to do these guest chef performances and collaborations at colleges, it for us, it's very much about, yes, we're wanting to enrich your program and enrich the learning experience, but genuinely it's about us being able to look for new talent as well.
Yeah.
And I think for me it works perfectly at the college, and as soon as we worked together that night on the first time that we did the guest chef, it was obvious that the two lads were something quite special, and they stood out, not to the detriment of any of the other learners. And I'm, hopefully, you never know, further down the line there'll be room for some more, but no, they shone out. And I think the way that they apply themselves and the way that they approach their career is testament to obviously their family and upbringing, but obviously to yourselves as well. So I know it's working. I think it's about how do we make that happen for bigger numbers, because the industry, I think the way it's going to change now is that with the COVID situation, I think you might get a lot of European staff and transient staff possibly returning home because they want to see families, and I think that's going to be very difficult as travel restrictions are lifted rather, and that will do two things. I think firstly, it's whether restaurants like me can afford to bring more people, because we might have gaps, but also it's going to put more pressure on colleges and people like myself to produce more local people, if you see what I mean, because I do think that a lot of our European cousins may wish to return home at some point. So it's going to be a fine line, I think.
Yeah.
What about the next steps then? I know we chatted very briefly before we started. Tell us about how they're going to sort out the qualifications this year, how they're going to come to the conclusions.
Well, I think what we know so far, obviously, A-levels and English and maths have been sorted and finalised, and we've got the pathway for that. I think we're still waiting on final confirmation of vocational. Now, I can't confirm 100%. All I can go in is on what we know so far. So I was in a webinar with City and Guilds on Wednesday with my boss, Dan Hunter, and City and Guilds are basically going to adopt three approaches. They're either going to calculate the grade based on work done so far. They're either going to adapt the grade based on, I think it revolves around an estimation of what you think they could have got, or the pattern of what they were heading towards. Now, either one of those two would be fine for us. Like I say, we were at a point pre-lockdown that, and I can't speak for all other colleges, but we were at a point, luckily and through a lot of damn hard work, that we were at a point where it's not so bad for us, if you like. We were at a point where they'd done a lot of their work. The third option that the City and Guilds are opting for is delay. Now, we're pretty much 95% sure that one isn't going to be the one. So I think, subject to final confirmation, Paul, it's either going to be an estimate of grade or an adaptation of grade.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to think where we were in the point of course where we were, that a lot of colleges will be in the same boat, that a lot of the work was done. I think we're pretty much just waiting on, well, we didn't get done 2 final cookery exams, but they were assessed on all of their cookery dishes. So we're quite fortunate, really.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be one of those first 2, Paul.
Yeah. It's really tough, isn't it? Because I'm sure you would agree, and I'm sure the learners would agree. They would rather finish, a bit like the football season, is it? They would rather finish and finish those final exams and those
I think
final.
so.
You want closure, and you want to know that you've done a good exam at the end. And as a chef, obviously, it's a very practical side of things that you've got to be tested on, and that's hard to do it online. I know you've got amazing work. You're doing amazing work with technology, but you know me, I'm a bit old school. I still want them to fillet that fish, not.
That's right. Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah, I'm with
so,
you. I'm with you.
But
I think to address that a little bit further, because we anticipate, as I think I said earlier, that we're going to look at a lot more guys progressing from their level 1 to 2 and from their 2 to 3. Now, those guys that do are obviously the serious chefs anyway, to be fair, aren't they? They're the ones that really want to do it. Now, what we will do in the college is put in provision for additional catch up, even if they're not assessed, say, by City and Guilds on it. We will bridge, I keep saying it, but bridge that skills gap with whatever was missing. We will fill the gap. You know, with the practical sessions.
I mean, it's good. It's good to hear that you're talking like that, and I can see, and I trust in completely what the college are doing, because I've seen it so many times for myself. But the other thing, the other side of this, and I want to bring the front of house into it, if I may, because I always think that they get a bit of a sort of the bridesmaid treatment, if you know.
Yeah.
And I think personally, and I've said this for a while, that in actual fact, the chefing side of our industry at the moment, yes, all right, there's still possibly a quality issue, but I can recruit a chef much easier than I can recruit front of house. So, hi John, we got you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technical issues.
Yeah. No worries. We'll bring you back in a minute. I've just asked Shane another question. So
Yeah.
So don't be too long, you bugger. Let him back in a minute.
No, yeah, sorry, John. So yeah, we do at our college. We do levels. I'm sure it's the same for all colleges. We do levels 1, 2, and 3. Now, levels 1 and 2 include automatically a front of house qualification. Now we've got restaurant manager Vicky Mulqueen and Lisa Hares, who's just joined us as well. Now they're two guys that have done front of house and food service. Now they run the restaurant and they teach these guys the front of house qualification. And as you say, Paul, I think it's really important that all chefs. I know Gordon Ramsay has this policy in his restaurants that all his chefs do front of house. Now I think it's so important because it builds on the relationship between chef and front of house, which, you know, we're all chefs of in the past and present. Now that relationship can sometimes be a little bit fraught. So I think if the chefs have an appreciation of what the front of house go through, because they do get the brunt of it, they get the brunt of the complaints, they get the brunt of the chefs when they come in to tell them about the complaint. First thing, you know, when I was chefing and at the college, when a complaint comes in, we gather around the plate and we go, taste it, and we go, no, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that. Go on, take it out. But I think chefs need to have that appreciation of the demands and the challenges that front of house go through. So our levels 1 and 2 have that as an automatic part of their
absolutely.
That's right, isn't it, John? They have it as an automatic part of their qualification.
Yeah.
I think I quite agree. I mean, I'll take it from here if that's okay. I mean, I teach front of house. I'm front of house lecturer at Tameside College. So the concept is what we're seeing now is actually an increase in front of house students wanting just to do front of house, not kitchen. They come in, they do front of house level 1, and now I'm seeing a divide. So you're actually getting people saying, "Oh, I want to do front of house full time now."
Yeah. Oh, I think he's gone again, Paul.
I do kitchen, but then you're getting the ones saying, "I want to do between front of house and kitchen." So it is quite good.
I think from our perspective, John, it's like as long as your team.
And now they're moving on to level 3.
Team is enthusiastic.
As well. So we're starting level 3 hospitality supervision.
Oh, sorry,
John, you were just breaking up a little bit there. Just pick it up from the level 3 that you were talking about.
Yeah, they've got to be enthusiastic. Sorry. Yeah. So we've now got a level 3 hospitality supervision. It's we've got 9 and 10 because it goes with our academies that we have with the college. So we have an academy with the IHG group at the Kimpton Hotel in Manchester. We also have a Work Experience Academy with, dare I say it for those that are Reds out there, Man City. And and that's going really well. So and they support us really well. So and that's how this Bridging the Skills Gap concept has come together with me, is getting those people from schools to get involved with the college, and getting the industry involved with the college, then builds up that link. And that's what we're seeing now is it's actually working. It's actually taking people through, because I've linked industry with schools because they want to have somebody in to talk about the industry, and vice versa. The industry wants somebody to link with a school where they can take on somebody's work experience. So it is working, and our actual level 1, 2, and 3 now, front of house especially, is taking off.
It's great. It's great to hear that, because I do worry about our continuity with front of house training. I really do, and I think it's by far the hardest thing to recruit at the restaurant where I am and run, and it has been for many years. And I think, you know, as I alluded to earlier, I think the pressure is going to be more and more on local homegrown staff rather than our European cousins coming in, because I think one of the things the crisis will do is reduce travel, and people will want to be at home with their families and close relations, won't they? So it's going to be a big pressure, I think. On the
I think
chefing,
also,
sorry.
Go on.
Yeah,
I think also competitions play a massive role into try and get that upskilling ready for industry, and getting industry involved when the students are in competitions. It actually brings the industry in for them to actually get involved. So it works really well for us. We do World Skills. We've got a finalist in Top Door. So yeah, so it really works.
I agree
well.
with you there, John. I think competition is a massive confidence and skill booster. You know, it's an avenue we actively pursue, like yourselves, the World Skills. The inter-college ones are good as well. We go to the college, College Cambria, do the Welsh National Championships, and there's pretty much a class for every ability of learner. So
yeah, we do the Welsh Nationals.
It's a cracking competition, and Vicky and Matt, they take guys down, and again, they're spending time developing them, and you know, we incorporate practice into our sessions. Again, boosting that confidence. You know, these guys are coming home with medals, and they're a different person than when they went.
Yeah, they go out. We have to travel from Manchester to North Wales to Llandrillo, and we have to set off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we do like the 2 days of the competition. And they're coming back at the end of those 2 days absolutely knackered, absolutely goosed. But
good training.
But they're like,
good training.
Absolutely, it is.
We're going back next year. We're going back next year. I got gold. You know, and then the following year they're up for it, but they're stepping up a class, stepping up a level. So it's amazing, the motivation. But to keep that motivation going while we've been in lockdown has been difficult. But my group that I've had for my level 3s, and I know from my colleagues from the level 2s in the kitchen side and so on, the motivation that our students have had and the support that our students have given to my colleagues and myself, has been amazing as well, because they want to get back to college. They're hungry for that aspect, and like yourself, we were mostly practical. Most of the practicals were done by the time lockdown hit, so we've only really been doing questions and theory and getting those finalized off. So but I think making sure that we keep them motivated, keep them in place, keep them on board, you know, and we've actually set up small competitions for our students coming from schools for next year. We've sent out little booklets and work booklets to them, and we've also set up a competition. So we've had obviously we do bakery, so we've had the best baker, we've had best dish.
And you need stuff like that. You need it.
Absolutely.
And the students that come to us are going, thanks, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's
So
fabulous.
it's been really great.
Well, I'm gonna throw one more question at you guys, and I'm just conscious of time marching on now, and I want to make sure John gets a shout because we lost him for a good 10 minutes there. So, I think it's so nice to hear all the positivity and all the determination to keep this rolling, no matter what COVID throws at us. And I think what you're doing is fantastic in both colleges. So I take my hats off to you. But what I want to just finish off on is, I'm sure there are people watching the festival this today and tomorrow. In fact, there were messages coming through about people wanting to join courses in September. And really, just from you two guys, about how we can still make that happen, even though it might be through Teams or it might be through, could you just give a little bit of a shout out on that topic before we wind it up, if that's all right?
Sure. Who wants to go first? Do you want me to go first, John? Do you want to?
Yeah, carry on. Yeah, fire away.
Okay. For anyone that I'll do the shameless plug first. Anyone that wants info on college courses and our academy restaurants, just check out our website, www.ccsw.ac.uk. All the links to the restaurants, the courses we do, we're all on there. Now, with regards to September, we've been doing telephone-based interviews. We're going to have to, as you say, Paul, continue with our Teams way of delivery and accessing and contacting learners. A Teams instruction sheet is going to be posted to every learner, along with the uniform list and all the usual college bits and bobs and enrollment date and so on and so forth. So we will have them accessing Teams before they set foot in the door in September. Now, I anticipate that most, if not all, theory, probably the same for John as well, is likely to continue on Teams for September until the foreseeable future, giving space in the week and on timetables to allocate staff to deliver practical sessions. Now, even those are going to look a little bit different, I think. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think people want to join us. I'm going to do our shameless plug. It's www.take.ac.uk and go there and have a look at the different courses that we will deliver. I think the course delivery will be a bit different. We're still finalising different aspects. We're also looking at booklets that have gone out to the students already. So there's little bits of workbook already in there that actually hits half the units. So when they come in, they're hitting the ground running. So whether they have sort of like whether they have theory lessons or not, the theory will be done because they'll have worked on it over the holiday period. And I think it will be a bit difficult. I think enrollment will be an interesting thing. When we normally have 300 people shoved in a hall, that's going to be interesting. But I think, I think it's going to be a challenging time ahead. But I think we'll all learn from it. I think we've all learned from it actually in this short space of time. And I think we're only just getting better at it, to be fair. And I think it will be a good year next year. We've got quite a lot of people. We're just starting finalising the bits of interviews that we've got left. Yeah. Luckily, most of our interview nights were done. But I think the challenge is there. But as great hospitality people that we are, the challenge will be overcome and will be conquered. Absolutely. So
absolutely. Fantastic.
We'll get there.
Well, seeing as the topic was inspiring the future, gentlemen, I can certainly say that you've both done that. I'll continue to do my bit, and hopefully, when all this is over, we can get together and do it. Do it for real in a restaurant somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I say one last thing? I would just like to say, well done to all the guys that are in our industry that are working in COVID-19 situations and in hospitals that are keeping this country going. So fair play to them. And
absolutely.
And don't forget to donate to the Hospitality Action Just Giving page.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Shane. Fantastic.
Go do it. Right. Hospitality.
Yeah. Thank you very much, gents. See you both very soon. All the very best.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Hospitality Action is a force for good. We offer lifelines to people who work or have worked in hospitality and find themselves in difficulty or crisis. We help people set their lives back on track. But not all of our stories have happy endings. For April, a secondary cancer diagnosis meant the best we could do for her was to take any financial worries off her mind.
I was diagnosed summer of 2018 with sarcoma cancer and attended Christie Hospital here in Manchester, and from there I've been on a journey with various chemo treatments and an operation. Oh, I've known about hospitality actually for over 10 years. They've been very, very good to me. They have given me little Christmas presents. I came back on my holiday and I had a birthday present from them and a birthday card, which really surprised me. It was a nice little touch. I've been given a warming grant for heating, and I've been given different amounts of money paid at different times throughout the year. With VHA's help, I've been able to recently take a little trip down to London a couple of weeks ago, and with that I was able to sort of meet up with my friends, go out. We went to the West End, we went and seen the Tina Turner musical, and we had fun. You know, it doesn't take that much sort of to be with your friends and sort of having that sort of tranquility and fun. It's less pressure too. It's knowing that next month there'll be a sum coming in then too, and that'll pay off all the utility bills. So it's a safety net that's there, and I'm very, very grateful that it's there, that I'm able to use it.
Whatever life throws at you, isn't it great to know somebody's got your back when the going gets tough? Help us to help people like April, people like you. Hospitality Action. We've got you.